It's live.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live here on the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM and 105.3 FM from beautiful New Orleans. This evening's segment is partially sponsored by Folgers Coffee. So thank you, Folgers. We love you. In order to participate in tonight's show, you'll see that it will be streaming across 8 different platforms, being Twitch, both United Public Radio and UFO Public Radio, or Paranormal Radio here on YouTube, and you'll be able to find it on at least 3 or 4 different streams on Facebook that do belong to Joe Montaldo, our producer, and UPRN. Please feel free to join the chat rooms. I'll do my best to address all of your questions and comments. Tonight we have Steve, Genier, and Alex Rondini, some of our personal favorites and very good friends who are returning to the show to discuss paramedia. So that's short for paranormal media, just saying. And how it has affected the way investigations are being done, or has it, in fact, affected the way investigations are being done. A lot is changing in the industry, and there is an influx of the media coming around. So we're just going to kind of toy around with that for a little bit. So it's going to be a great segment. Settle yourselves in, hopefully with a nice cup of Folgers coffee. So here we are, and waiting on the gents to come in.
Hey, hi.
And speaking of said gents,
hi guys.
Good day. Good day.
There they are.
You're actually on time. So
coffee right here.
Is it Folgers?
You do.
Is that Folgers in there? Yeah.
It's Folgers. It's good to the last drop.
Good.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Good man.
Right?
Good man.
Folgers. That's right. So good. So how are you guys?
Good. Can't complain.
Nobody listens.
Stir crazy, but good.
Yeah.
Still stir crazy. Well, it's only been what, a year?
I'm stir crazy.
I know.
Yes, it's only been a year. You got to get used to it.
Has it been that long?
He's crazy all the time.
Feels like 10 years.
It does, doesn't it?
I've aged.
I'm not gonna lie.
10 years.
10 years.
Oh my God.
It's a whole different world out there, isn't it? Just, it's great here in Niagara, though. It's no tourists. I love the tourists. Don't freaking shoot me. I'm just saying it's kind of nice, when you have a 10-minute run that doesn't take you half a freaking hour. It's kind of nice.
You get through the traffic, right? Your traffic is a lot quieter.
Nobody knows where they're going.
You can see the falls now.
Nobody knows where they're going. You can tell the tourists, and you sit there patiently and going, they're tourists.
You can actually hear the water falling.
You can. We could hear them from here. Yeah, it's
and
beautiful.
you can actually hear a picture. You can actually take a picture without anybody in it.
Isn't that nice?
Right?
It's amazing.
That's one of the craziest things right now, because that hasn't happened ever in my life.
Nope. Doesn't make me miss Burlington, though, with all the unsynced lights and stuff.
So but you have Steve there. You guys could have had like a garage beer like we do every once in a while.
It's because he wasn't telling anybody he was here. At least I didn't know because, last time you were here.
When was I here? When was I there?
Wasn't during the C word. If it was, I got you back.
In many ways, Michelle.
I know. I have so many friends who's like, oh, I can't wait to get back to Niagara to see you. I'm like, yep.
I kind of got used to the solitaire kind of being on my own. Doesn't bother me.
No,
it
has its
I think it's right. I think it's because I was always the entertainment house, so it's given me a break. Although I've had that break, I've been able to really work on some recipes for when it comes back to fruition again. But
by the way,
no burrito recipes. I've been working on cakes. Yes.
Freaking shameless Alex. Damn burritos.
I didn't send my address to you so that you can come visit. That address was like, I'm like, where's the burrito? It's almost 9 o'clock. Where's the burrito?
Send me the address.
I thought we had a deal.
Yeah, but I ate it because you never gave me your address.
But yes, I did. I put it in chat.
You didn't.
And I'm sticking to
it. I'm going to check right now.
You didn't, and I'm going to stick to that. So we'll go with it.
Yeah, so, you do that.
Look, he's actually looking too. It's funny.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Shit, do I have to drive a damn burrito out to her now?
Yeah, exactly.
No. That's what DoorDash is for.
Yeah, exactly.
Next time.
Wow.
Next time.
So, paranormal. What's been going on with you guys? Paranormally speaking, if anything, it's kind of crazy times.
I'm stumped. It's paranormal. There hasn't really been. It's been pretty quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Except for working on a documentary right now on the paranormal, but
that's still going.
Oh yeah. It's
getting any progress.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're getting ready to shoot a few more days.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully wrap things up, and then we're looking maybe October for a release.
Oh, so now we got to bring you back for the spooky month of October for your release, but you have to freaking release it.
Yeah, well, I want to make sure it's perfect. When you think you have enough footage, you never have enough footage.
Never have enough footage.
So,
no, I know.
Here's the funny thing.
Sorry, I would say Alex or Steve is so laid back and is talking. I'm feeling like I'm lolling. I'm like freaking lolling and relaxed.
It's good. It's good though. It's working to balance out the day I had. It's working.
Alex, you were saying?
I was saying that it just so happens that Halloween falls on a Sunday, which is when we broadcast our show.
Oh,
that's right.
Well,
that's Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to have. Hopefully, we are going to have the premiere of the documentary that night.
Oh, that would be exciting. How are you going to? What are your plans to do that? How are you going to do that?
We're going to stream it live on YouTube, I think.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
Now, if you want to just stream it in a park, I have a screen and a projector.
Yeah. I don't know. We
charge admissions.
Of course, you want to release it on your own show. I know. I just thought we were more special and you would stream it on ours.
I had an acre of land behind me.
If you guys want to stream it over there too, you can.
Yeah.
No. I was just in case you had the idea of perhaps doing it live outside or anything. If you ever want to use it, it's yours to use.
I mean, anything's possible, right? I mean, way, unfortunately, with how things are and still are after a year.
I know.
Hopefully things are a lot better. And if they are, then who knows?
That's how I got the projector. My nephew bought it for me. He said, "You're so active and you're so, always out or at friends or your friends are over." He said, "I thought this was a perfect Christmas gift." So he bought me a huge screen with the projector so I can watch movies outside in the summer. So if you ever need it, it's yours to borrow.
I think we should get an old drive-in.
Oh,
there's not
Starlight. There's one right up the street. Starlight.
And there's
Starlight's still running.
And so is the one in Oakville, the ninth line with the 3 screens. I think so.
There. Oh, it has to be an old, rundown, haunted one.
That would be Starlight.
There you go.
Aren't they all haunted?
Well,
Hasn't Starlight been there since like the 80s?
Yeah, it's been there quite a long time. I mean, the five drive-in's been there a long time as well.
Yeah, that's true. Remember when there used to be one in Waterdown on Parkside? Do you remember the one in Waterdown on Parkside?
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, when I moved in 1988, it was still there, and it went down a year later.
Oh,
which
really?
was kind of sad. Yeah, I know.
I remember the the 400 drive-in.
Yes.
Remember that one?
I didn't live far from there. I grew up like 10 minutes from there. Yeah.
There was that one, and then there was obviously the 5 drive-in. There was
Jane and 7.
Yeah, the 7 drive-in.
Jane and 7.
Yeah,
We still have one in Niagara. It's still running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a pretty cool one up just outside of was it Elmville? Elmville, I
Yes.
believe it was.
Out that way. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's still there or not. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be something? Because you can almost charge admission, like even to donate to a charity, anything that you guys chose to do. But I think it'd be kind of cool to play it and have people come in and around Halloween. And
well, I think any proceeds that are made from that will go to Alex's new invention, mini burritos.
Let me cut that first check for you. I have a question from the chat room from Wayne. Yeah.
I was going to say they're bite size.
Bite size. Yeah,
that's okay. I'll take 10.
All right.
I'll take 10. I'm all about the minis. The ratio is so much better. Wayne Mellows is asking, did you guys have a difficult time filming during the past year?
No, I mean, it's been relatively seamless, given the weather. I mean, there was a few times.
The biggest thing is the weather.
The weather's been the biggest thing, but I mean, other than that, it's been pretty seamless.
I think he probably doesn't realize, but this documentary was filmed outside. It wasn't indoors.
Yeah. So entirely outside.
Yeah.
It's the documentary is called The Dark Woodlot.
Yep.
And it's entirely based around an old woodlot that has an interesting tale to tell.
And of course, you're not going to tell us, are you? Because that would just ruin everything.
A tiny, teeny, weensy bit of the premise?
Well, we do have teaser trailers up on our YouTube channel. If you think.
Okay.
And what's the YouTube channel?
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, you got to give the YouTube channel.
Yeah, just get it out there for everybody else.
Go on the YouTube and type in Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
There we go, guys.
Okay. I'll put that in chat because we don't want them to go now.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's just say that there's some elements that have arisen that were entirely not expected.
Ah, cliffhanger. Now we all have to know. Okay.
So hence the reasoning for additional shooting days.
Right.
So we have to go in, we have to find out exactly what is going on.
So it's like bonus footage.
Well, yeah. Could be bonus. Yeah, hopefully it'll be good enough for bonus footage. Yeah.
Right. That sounds exciting. Well, speaking of paranormal, of course, I find since, we've been incapacitated for the last year, I'm noticing an influx of shows. I have American television, and I cannot tell you the amount of paranormal TV that is out there. It seems to almost have tripled.
Oh, yeah.
Over the course of the last 18 months.
I mean, when you look at it, when there is downturns in the economy, when there are recessions, whatever, they always mass manufacture, budgeted TV. And I remember, for instance, example, Japan in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Japan was going through a terrible recession, and instead of releasing films on at the theaters and stuff like that, they shot on video. They shot movies and TV on video. It was so much cheaper, and a lot of it went straight to rental, or it went right to TV. And you're sort of getting that now, with the paranormal TV shows. Let's face it, anybody can be a paranormal TV star nowadays.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. Or Steve. Sorry, asking me to pick on you, Steve.
No,
I work hard being stereotyped.
I'm not pointing fingers at you. I'm just saying that there's a lot of you look at a lot of these shows now, Michelle.
It's true.
It really is. It makes you. It's like going into a grocery store, during this pandemic. You feel like Homer Simpson, and you're constantly going, "Do," you know?
You're not wrong.
You know, it just baffles. And a lot of these shows are, you know, it's like the breakdown of humanity, to be honest.
Some of it is really like it is really something, and I have to tell you, like they're still grasping. I have worked with probably at least 3 different producers in the last 6 months who are developing or trying to develop something that I have said no to. I'm like, oh, I'm good, thank you. It's getting bad, you know. But I mean, the ideas are great. It's nice that they're grasping for ideas, but it's still the same old formula, you know. And I'm just like, well, one I think is on haunted objects. That might be interesting. Yeah, it's like, do you have anything haunted that you want to talk about? I'm not scared of my objects. So I would be completely useless for your show, believe me. I don't own a crazy haunted doll that wants to kill everybody. I don't own anything that I'm fearful of. So, I can't help you there. So, but, there are a lot of, not for a lack of people trying. So it's something that they're still moving ahead with. And now, of course, you've got, in the US, one of the major, and I don't want to just say it on air, but one of the major, channels now has a pay-per-listen channel. So everything is moving over to that.
Yeah.
So now they're not really getting anything new anymore on the regular channel. So everybody's jumping on the bandwagon, I think, with it.
Yeah.
Cinema. I mean, I just watched Justice Leagues by Nick. I can't remember his last name. I just watched it on regular on demand.
Oh,
and I didn't even get I didn't even get charged for it.
The Zack Snyder Justice League.
Yes, the new one.
Yeah.
The first hour is a real snore, I'm not gonna lie, but after that it just bounces. It's worth sitting through it.
I have a hard time with DC.
I can't watch him anymore.
He doesn't film like DC. This is all in its film noir perspective. It's very artistic. It's got nothing. They don't spend that much time focusing on the CGIs of the characters and of the superheroes, but it's more of a filmmaker's perspective of how it should have been portrayed and how it should have been directed. So the cinematography for it is noir the whole time. It's fascinating if you're into filmmaking. I wouldn't recommend it for just anybody to watch it. If you're looking for that superhero kind of feel, it's not there. It's not there.
Isn't there some sort of some issue going on? I think there's some social justice thing against Zack Snyder going on right now because of something, how I don't know exactly what it is.
I don't even know who the hell he is. Just showing you how
he's a phenomenal filmmaker and director.
Yeah,
I don't watch much television anymore.
Yeah.
He's not TV. He's cinematic. He's silver screen, big films.
Same thing.
Yeah,
on TV, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was Zack Snyder.
Very artistic.
You don't know?
Yeah, because people were looking forward. He got a lot of acclamations from the actors for once it was viewed because they saw it at the same time as the audience did, and it's very dark. So
well, I think there's a lot of characters in the DC world that are dark, and that's the problem that they have. That's the problem that they're having conveying a lot of their characters because in the past, of course, what they did with Batman, obviously the Dark Knight, that was a step in the right direction. Of course, when what they did with the Joker.
And that's how they filmed this. That's how they filmed this.
Well, they have to. I mean, I'm sorry. As much as I love the old Batman TV series from the '60s, it's
I don't.
It was corny.
Exactly. It was corny. And
that's true. It's more true to life.
Corny, and now
it's what it is.
Yeah. Now it's a psychological and sociopathic. Are these people that we call heroes, are they true heroes or are they just criminals with real dark sides? And it was portrayed so well. But like I said, personally, I don't think it needed 4 hours and 2 minutes. So
4
it was
hours.
like
4 hours.
yes.
Oh,
Fast forwarded through the first hour. I couldn't take it. And then it went from slow to bang, 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 bang. And you're like, it's over?
4 hours. Wow. That's
yes.
Wow. That's paranormal.
Yeah. But anyways, the cinematography aspect, I think you would appreciate.
Mm-hmm. So
4 hours of it, though.
I know the first thing I said was 4 hours. The Godfather wasn't even 4 hours.
Yeah. 3 hours. 3 hours. 3 hours.
That was 3 hours too long as well.
Listening to somebody with cotton balls in his cheeks.
I'm sure he was paid well.
Oh, absolutely.
Did he ever do a horror film more than Brando? I don't think so.
Oh yeah, The Island of Dr. Moreau.
That was a great
Dr. Monroe. I don't see that as a horror film. Okay, he did The Island of Dr. Monroe. That's right. When he was much older.
Yeah. And
he was very heavy at the time. That was closer to the end of his life, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Donald Sutherland's done tons.
Yeah, Donald Sutherland. There's
I love him.
Really. Oh, he's a great actor.
I do love him too. He's a great Canadian.
Yeah. What's your favorite Donald Sutherland movie?
Mine?
Yeah. Either one of you.
Not a paranormal movie.
The old Les Miserables.
For me. Oh yeah, for me it's the Apprentice. What is it called? Not The Apprentice. Oh my God. He and Aidan Quinn, and he transforms him. He's a doppelganger for a terrorist, and he transforms him into him so that they can capture the other one. And it's filmed mostly in Montreal. But it's a phenomenal movie. What is it called? I have to Google it because it's going to drive me crazy.
Sorry, Pedro. Yeah. No, it's not about movies. We'll get back on track.
I think my favorite is the Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
He's also American Haunting, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in there. Yeah.
Well, maybe we should get back on track. The chat is speaking. So okay, so we're going. Yes, we are getting into the paranormal. So yes, there are new shows that are out. Do you find, because I find whenever there's a resurgence of shows, we end up having a lot of people who like to investigate from their sofas and start up groups, or, do you feel that they're even getting a little bit of education as to, like, are any of those shows out there educational so they could go out and start a group, which seems to be something that a lot of people are doing? And is it safe?
So what are you saying, that there are you're saying these shows are educational, or
no? What I'm asking, is there anything out there deemed educational?
I think maybe they think they are educational from an entertainment standpoint.
Yes.
But like anything else, you're definitely going to have a rush of people. I think you can have an influx of people.
Mm-hmm.
Starting up groups or going out and doing this all over again.
Mm-hmm.
The post-COVID era, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And when things are, when things open up and everything else, I think the message is entirely lost, though. Honestly, I think from what I learned when I was getting on my feet, is nowhere. It's almost nowhere in existence anymore. Now, I don't know about you, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff that I would use to investigate with, tools and methods and all that kind of stuff. It's people just, what's that?
It's true. Like a film. We were just talking about this last night, like a film camera or a film, audio recorder, something you can't fudge. I was mentioning when I was doing an event at Casa Loma, I had a woman come, and she was said to have captured one of the really more or less undisputed, ghost photos that when it was taken back in like the 70s or 80s, and she showed up with a negative because she took it with an old camera, and she showed the negative for people to see it so they could see the photo and they could see the negative. And do you know that the kids that were there, because it was a family event, you know, and they had never seen one. They'd never seen a negative. And they're looking at it and they're just like, and it made me realize at that point that it's just, we're in the world of technology and digital, and it's getting away from a lot of the basics. You know, you just don't see that much in a lot of the shows anymore.
Well, and it's so easy to manipulate a lot of these tools now because of it. You know, cameras, for instance.
Yes.
Digital cameras and cell phone camera, because let's face it, more and more people are using cell phones to record audio.
They're mini computers.
Yeah.
They're mini computers, but at the same time, they don't understand that there's other functions playing out at the same time when they're recording. And if they think that it doesn't interrupt or some way contaminate what you're collecting, you're thinking wrong.
Okay, maybe touch on that a little bit more. Like, explain that, if you don't mind, because people are going, "What is he talking about?" Because they are very new age.
You got a cell phone, okay, and you know how many people? Okay, you're on your cell phone. A lot of people now, it's like it's 24/7. You know, people have, except for when they're sleeping or whatever else, but
even then,
even then. But I mean, you know, you got text messages, you got emails, you got apps galore, social media, all sorts of stuff. And how many of those people actually shut down this stuff after using it? They don't. Right. So when you go to record, you have all sorts of stuff going on. You know, all these things processing. And if you think it doesn't somehow leak or lurch into your recording or well, mostly audio.
Like, are you talking about leaving apps open, for example, and not closing your apps?
Apps and not closing the apps.
Okay.
Would you when somebody's texting you, it interferes with the phone, right? It like, I don't know how many times not necessarily the text is leached into the audio, but you've had some sort of, there's a noise it makes. You, not so much anymore, but you used to hear it, real time. That leaches in. Like there's so many for instance, and I'm saying like a lot here. It's because I'm getting pissed. I don't know why.
No, that's okay, man. Just let it go. Just let it go. Vent.
Yeah.
You're among friends.
Someone give the man a beer. Someone give the man a beer.
Yeah. Oh, wait a sec.
It wouldn't be the first one, believe me.
Did you see Amelia look up there?
I'm looking because I'm like, wait a second. I didn't get a burrito. You're shipping a beer?
Yeah. Here, let me pass it over to Alex.
The burrito's in the mail.
That's Folger's coffee in his cup.
You know, people use in EMF detectors these ghost apps. I was actually testing one out the other day. It's called let's see here. It's called Ghost Tube.
Oh, that's new.
Oh yeah.
What's that all about?
It's got, it records audio. It allows you to see in ghost mode, like infrared, or night vision or whatever. And again, it's just if you want to put it basically a parlor trick. It's something to gain the attention of people that, oh, that's cool, I'm going to use that. And, ultimately, I think, you can buy their gear on there too. So if you don't like the app, but you can buy a t-shirt from us, thank you.
There's an app I used on the phone that worked a little too good in my house.
Oh, really?
Too well. Oh, yeah. It worked a little too well. I had to contact Michelle because I'm using the iOvulus, and you never do this stuff at home. Never. Don't like that, me included. and
that's
in
an
your own
interesting one.
house. That was a very interesting one because I can't remember everything that it said. I just remember saying that it's here. And I said, is anyone here? Yes. How close are you? And I got by the blanket, by the cream colored blanket. Cream colored blanket was crocheted for me by my sister-in-law. It was in my bedroom closet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't find that to be something that I could dismiss, because I don't think that's a common word or direction that you get from something like that.
I mean, it's not all the time, but I mean, for the most part, you know, there's way too much technology out there now, way too much. There's technology for anything. I mean, it's not all bad. Don't get me wrong. I don't like. I'll use a lot of stuff, but there are certain things that you know. Let me say, I'm not a big fan of ghost boxes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of spirit boxes. I honestly,
I am.
As much as you want to try to convince me it's working, there's just too much information and stuff to say, look at no, it doesn't work.
I have mixed feelings. I've had pretty good experiences and validations with them. Obviously not when you're hearing all the static and the whole time. Like I don't use that type of a ghost box at all. I had one designed for me. It's very, very quiet on average. But I mean, I used to have spirits. I had a spirit leave a message on my old answering machine. Remember the ones that used to beep? And she beeped. She probably went through about 4 spaces, and it went beep, and you'd hear her talk and beep, little bits and pieces. But what I found fascinating was the music playing in the background. It almost like she was riding the waves to go through, and had said relevant things. And that was on an old tape recorder, like an old tape answering machine. But when I can take, you know, I guess the ghost box, whatever, and reverse the speech, because I do have a reverse speech option on it. So when it plays, it's almost like playing an LP backwards. When the speech comes through in forward mode and it's in reverse on the unit itself, and it's coming out with a sentence and it's completely silent, that to me is something.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's stuff. I mean, a lot of people, when they use these instruments, tools, they're probably using them wrong. B, look at when you have multiple tools in the same, like side by side. You got an EMF detector and you got a recorder right beside each other, and then you got a cell phone. And if you think that these things aren't interacting with each other and, you know, canceling out this, canceling out that, you know, give them space. Don't have them right up beside each other.
Oh, I think people should all be using different pieces of equipment in different rooms.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
and I would like you, Michelle. I would highly suggest, if you can get yourself anything that records on with magnetically, I would say use it.
Yeah.
You know, reel to reel, tape recorder, mini dog. You know, you
but
name
only
it.
on one side, right? Because you don't want the sound to bleed through to the other side.
Only on one side, fresh tape or whatever, reel. And that goes with video as well. You know what? I prefer to use a high 8 camera.
Yep.
You know, grant you, it's really hard getting the tapes now, but I mean, they're there. You can get them, but they're extremely hard to get now. But if you can get them, I have I don't know, 3 or 4 high 8 cameras. I prefer using them. I really do.
Yeah, it is a shame that it's so difficult to get anything. I like the old Polaroid cameras. I used to use them avidly. I just need to make reference to Pedro. Yes, it's like a white noise that plays in the background, but sometimes it's also just different radio frequency or radio blurb, blah, blah, blah. You can hear something in the background. I like to listen to something that's more quiet, because when things go quiet and you have stuff coming through, it sort of makes you wonder, where is it coming from? It's not necessarily being little bits and pieces of something that, you know, you could really, I mean, it could be something, but it's just one of those things that, again, it's a question mark, right? I like question marks. I was just saying this last night. If you can be left with a question mark at the end of something that you can't 100% say, no, this is nothing, it just leaves more room for exploration, which at least is something.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So,
earlier Wayne asked, because we're moving so fast, I'm missing the questions. Why did you pick the Woodland Lot, or did it pick you guys? And how long is your documentary? This is going way back. I'm trying to keep up.
I think Steve lost his keys in there one day, and that's how we stopped.
That's how you found it? Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
It's local. I just, to be honest, how it all started is I had been having some really interesting things happen at my house. Quite a lot of stuff, actually. Most cases subtle, and other cases okay. So I started doing a little bit of background research on the area where I'm located, in general, the land that it's situated on. And the land it's situated on is a great, it's a larger parcel of land, and this woodlot is a part of that land. At one point there was 4 or 5 farms, dwindled down to 3 farms, and now none. And an old tire center, believe it or not, an old mechanic. And I was scouring the internet one time looking for some news clippings or information or whatever I could find on this, woodlot or general area. And I came across this old form. I think it was not Metacrawler, but really old message board. With I don't know exactly what it was for, but there was a little excerpt from a guy who posted something about a news article, a news clipping from a local newspaper here in Burlington, stating, I'm in Burlington, stating that this guy was driving down, and I think this was like 1974, 79, somewhere around there. And the guy was driving down, Michelle, Mainway.
Sure do.
Yeah. So driving down Mainway, and he's driving by this where this woodlot is. And it was at night, and he saw a woman just walking in the farm field, just aimlessly. She looked like she was lost. And he stops, pulls over to the side, and gets out of his car, and he basically walks up to see if she's okay, if she needs some help or whatever. And as he approaches her, she disappears. Okay. So I did a little bit of research. And from what I'm gathering, is there a link to something that happened, say, almost 100 years earlier?
With this farm?
With this farm that was on that plot of land. That was no longer there when this guy had driven by it. So again, that's going to be a part of one of the focal points of the documentary. Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah. And you see, to me, most people, well, not to me, but most people they don't care about these things. They don't care about woodlots. To them, it's just a, parcel of land that, oh, you know what? Why don't they just like bulldoze it down and put some condos there?
People do. That's
and
then they wonder why they have a problem.
Yeah, and that's
they
what.
move on.
Unfortunately, that's probably what's going to happen. I don't know. I hope not. I hope that they see that there is some sort of value with keeping this the way it is, but you know,
it always goes the way of the mighty dollar, unfortunately, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you're at least able to tell the story, at least.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point. I mean, it's about telling a simple, basic tale that has a unique sort of spin to it. But the thing is, that is not the main ingredient of the documentary. What the main ingredient of the documentary is, what we've experienced has been totally off the wall.
Wow. So totally, much for the inconsequential vacant piece of land, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's just say it's definitely shown us a lot more than we anticipated. That's for sure.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
What's that?
Possums and coyotes.
Oh yeah, possums and coyotes too.
Well, I'll tell you, I had my fill. I lived in West Burlington, surrounded by ravine, and a lot of things used to come in and around the property because I'm not super far from the RBG. Yeah. And you know, like I remember even my daughter waking up in the middle of the night and looking outside and seeing something very tall with red eyes, and you know, she's like, you know, 8, 9. So you're right, that age, you know, it's like, are you seeing it for real? Or are you just projecting? What are you doing? So, you know, but since then, we've had a lot of tales of what seems to be wolf people that look like wolves, and they're walking like bipedals, like they're just on their hind legs. Also, a story on, is it Upper Middle, between Guelph Line and Brant Street, in that stretch near the high school. Somebody was traveling, and there were 2 of them in the car, and they saw a wolf that they're very mangy looking though. You know how coyotes are really mangy looking? They're just scrawny, but really long limbs. And it just stopped. And they described it as being almost as long as a lane. And it just stopped and stood up. And they were traveling at about midnight. I guess mom had picked up her daughter from work, and they were just traveling. So that was an interesting story. Like Burlington seems to be a hub.
Yeah, the one you know, sort of leading down that way, if you will. The one I'll give you a little bit of teaser, if you will.
Yeah, of course.
One of the interesting aspects that has seemed to be an ongoing occurrence the many times that we've been there shooting, and it's a very, very strange howl that is not like any animal that I've ever heard before in my life. And I've done a lot of research on terms of the different animal cries and in the area and all that kind of stuff. And this does not, it's not so much a howl, but a screech. It's a high pitched screech.
Really?
We also heard some wailing at some point.
Sorry, wailing. That's what I meant. Sorry, wailing. That's what I meant. Wailing. It's like a blood curdling wailing.
Sounds almost like Wendigo.
Hey,
because I've heard people say that they've heard that, not just in Burlington area, but Niagara on the Lake, down Niagara Falls, Fort Erie Way, near the waterways especially. And they hear one person describe it almost like a Xena war cry. Like it was just like a high-pitched wail, and when one person, an indigenous man said, well, when he looked off into a wooded area, it seemed to be this real tall thing, sort of red eyes and the what he said he thought were like horns. And I'm just like, shit, I don't want to share space with that in my city.
Yeah.
I'm open-minded, but I draw the line. That's anything that's, yeah.
Alex, I can't remember. Did you heard the wailing the one time, right?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
It was very faint, but I heard it.
Very faint, yeah. But there was the one point, the one night that Alex was not present during shooting, that we did experience the wailing, and we did actually have something else happen that was pretty. I'm not going to say too much about it because I want you guys.
Yeah, I didn't want to kill the effect for us.
Let's just say it's very intriguing.
It happened because I wasn't there. That's
of course. Just a ghost deterrent wasn't there.
Ghost deterrent. Hey, Sean G, Chasing the Truth. Thanks for popping in. Appalachians from Canada, Mississippi have some crazy stories of cryptids. Yeah, I bet you they freaking do. I think we're starting to see a lot more of that than just the typical stuff around here. And I'm wondering if it's because it's been so quiet with people being locked down and not as many people on the roads, if things are just coming out.
Maybe it's the after effects of having the COVID vaccination.
Ooh.
No, I'm just kidding.
You're gonna get us banned off YouTube.
You're gonna get us banned off YouTube. We're not even allowed to use that
listen
word.
To Steve. Don't listen to Steve.
I'm just kidding.
No, we're not even allowed to use the C word.
You know what? It could be something to do with it could be that. It could even be, look at, more people are home. I mean, is it already a presence that's there that
maybe?
Yeah, or it could be just the fact that everybody's anxiety level is higher and emotionally more people are stressed.
Pareidolia, but with the mind.
Yeah, pareidolia. Yeah.
With the mind, we think we see things. We need a Polaroid.
I think with everybody being locked down, they're watching too many really bad paranormal shows.
It could be.
I think you nailed it on the head there, Amelia.
Could be the howling, right?
I think people have like, I know here, again, I can only go based on my own environment since I've relocated here. I'm sure the house in Burlington's still having its little visits here and there, but here I just know it's so quiet now. We don't get the lull of the traffic anymore. It's very, very, very quiet here. We could hear like the falls loud and clear every night, just the roar of it. So it's easy to pick up on things, but I can also hear things across the river in the US because like I'm that close to the river. So if things are going on the other side, you can hear people talking, even like, if they're talking loud enough, and it just carries over the water. So it would be easy to let your imagination run wild. That's me being logical, just saying. But it happens every now and then. I have logic, but I don't know. I think I told you guys a story one time about that wolf that came in onto the property in Burlington. That it was huge, and I was just, washing dishes, so I didn't even have my phone with me. It was in the den, and I look up, and this big, because I grew up north, I'm used to timber wolves and regular wolves. We'd see them all the time. So this huge wolf came, it was white, and it came racing in. I'm going, oh, it's got to be a big Malamute or something, It didn't have long fur like a Malamute, but it was chasing a rabbit. And the rabbit took a dive under one of my outbuildings, and this thing put on the brakes, like backed itself up, and then kind of stood up on its haunches a little bit and just went really like with big chest on it. I'm like, first thing to do is looking for my phone, wet hands going, of course I don't have a phone. I've never seen anything like this in 30 years. But when we went and looked outside at the paw prints after that, they were basically bigger than the handprint. Factoring in, obviously, skid marks and such, right? But when the standing point, we're able to get pictures of that, which is the best I could do. But this thing turned around because there was a noise on the road, and it just spun around and went down into the ravine, and it was gone. It was wide. It had this big chest on it. And I've had huskies for years and years and years, and Malamutes. And that was probably the biggest freaking thing I had seen in a long time. That's what I said.
Yeah.
All right.
That's pretty freaky there.
It was, because I mean, we used to always have huskies and stuff in a really large pen outside. They were spoiled, you know. It was just a really beautiful space for them. So we never had animals. Even the deer, we used to get herds of deer that would come and just lay down in front of the kitchen window. And when you have big dogs, nothing comes anywhere near the house, right? So it was for years and years and years. But not having big dogs, then this thing comes on.
Free reign now.
Yep. I got nothing, man. I was just sharing the story.
Well, you're just lucky it didn't come after you.
I would have been hard pressed. There was a lot of distance between the back window, the bay window, and it was right along the tree line. Like I said, it was just surrounded by ravine and then the road. So it came in from the road direction. So like, oh, maybe it's just somebody's like really big ass dog. But it's just not quite like one I had seen. It didn't have the flat pushed in nose like a husky or a Malamute would. It had a much longer snout on it.
Maybe it was a skinwalker.
I'm going to ask you both. What's either one of you start? What's the craziest thing you've ever witnessed? And were you alone?
Steve, I'll let you go first. I got to think.
Crazy thing.
No pressure.
I remember years ago when I was working midnight shift, and Alex has heard this a million times, but it's definitely one of the freakiest things I've ever witnessed. And I was walking home, and I was approaching a bridge, and a double-sided bridge, and it had a grassy knoll in between, leading up to the two bridges. And then on the other side, this animal came up and walked across the road on the other side, and went onto the grassy knoll. And I'm watching this and thinking, okay, it's just like a coyote or whatever. Mm-hmm. And the next thing I know, it stops. So I stop. And I'm watching this thing, and this thing all of a sudden it stands up on its hind legs. And my brain's going, what the hell is this?
But was it really mangy looking, or was it really stocky?
It was very mangy, and this thing's probably stood close to 5 feet, 5.5, close to that. Mm-hmm. And it stood there and waited for him. It seemed like it was waiting for me to make a move or whatever, but I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And
yeah, definitely.
I'm watching this thing, and then all of a sudden I just got tired of it and just got down back on all fours, and then just walked across the road to my side in front of me, and then went back down underneath the bridge. And I'm like, okay, what did I just see there? Okay. And, I very carefully and gingerly walked, to the bridge and across it and everything else, making sure this thing wasn't following me or whatever. But
because you'd want to be on the bridge where the thing just was. That's good.
Yeah. So, years later, I had found out that, doing some research on it, thinking, okay, what the hell did I just see? And I just couldn't equate it to any story that I heard or seen out there until I read this old article from the Toronto Sun from 1979, I believe it was, and the famous Toronto tunnel creature. And when I saw the artist rendition of this creature, I'm like, holy crap, that's exactly what I saw, minus the red eyes. Wow. I didn't see any red glowing eyes, but the shape and demeanor and everything else of this creature, I'm like, that's exactly what I saw.
I think that's along the lines of the reports that I've been hearing through the years throughout the city and down here also, with these mangy looking, longer limbed, and they seem to lope when they run, like they don't run normally like a dog would.
Mm-hmm.
I need a minute because I'm going to drop in a second.
You're going to drop in a second?
Yeah, it's going to drop. I'm going to have to come back in.
Oh, I'm like, are you okay? What do you mean physically drop?
Oh, that's what I thought. I'm like, oh my God.
That's not good. Okay.
But yeah, I just, a friend of mine who was a journalist, she did a story on it, and she did a story she covered it, the story for UFO Digest.
Right.
And when it hit that, she received a whole bunch of, emails.
Wow.
From people who, in that direct area where I witnessed this, with similar stories of this type of creature years later after I'd seen it. So I just don't know. Is this something that perhaps was in the sewage system, the drainage system? I don't know. It just
for reference, this is around the Credit River.
Credit River. We coined it we coined it the Credit River creature.
I've heard of things in and around the area. Actually, here's a good question. Sean G, Chasing the Truth. Do you see UFOs around that area where you've had these sightings? Are we linking it to interdimensional beings here, or ET, or
in which area?
Well, where you're having these sightings. I mean, I could speak for myself in Burlington. I live really close to UFO Lookout.
I mean, the only time I've ever spotted a UFO was, it was in Burlington, but it was up around Tremaine and Dundas.
Shocker.
Yeah.
It's kind of desolate out there.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. But I mean, I had to stop. I had to pull over to the side of the road to clear my eyes and go, what? Am I actually seeing this? And it's funny. Another guy had seen it, was witnessing the same thing at the same time as I witnessed it, and went a step further and contacted the local military and see if they were doing any exercise or anything. They weren't up to anything. And of course they were very vague in their answers. So, who knows?
Yeah. We have a lot of them here in Niagara, sightings regularly. Or he says Indian burial mounds around. So now we're linking it to maybe something indigenous. It's a skinwalker. See, Alex had it right.
The skinwalker.
Yeah. So, the curiosity. We do have, Burlington does have a lot of indigenous history for sure.
Joseph Brett.
Yeah, for sure. Joe, if you're listening, Amelia's in the room and needs to get brought back in. I know you're listening on the big screen someplace. So just going to put that out there.
By the way, just want to throw it out there. Who's this guest, Alea Rondini, you have on?
Alea. Rondina. Alea Rondini. Oh my gosh. But I don't know. I do think it's interesting that things are becoming like they're just, people are spotting them more. And maybe it is because, oh Jesus, Alea. Darn it, Joe. Sorry. I'm like, what do you see, Alea? Am I supposed to see somebody in the chat room? What is this? So I think that's a case of fat fingers. Maybe people are just noticing more. Maybe they're just coming out of the woodwork, so to speak, because there aren't as many people around that can spot them. Maybe they can lurk around. It's a little more quiet. But, Sean's question to UFOs I find really interesting because we have so much stuff here in Niagara. We've got the Port Robinson Beast. And I had
Port Robinson,
I had a story come to me. Actually, Wayne was speaking with her, ironically enough. She worked at a local business here, and she had her stagette, I guess, camping with friends, and they were walking down the road, and something came chasing after them, and they hightailed it back to their car, and they just got in the car and went home. And when they got up the next day, there were these big claw marks in the car. And I'm like, I would really like to videotape a testimony on that, because that's a pretty interesting story. You hear about it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like the Beast of Bray Road sort of thing. But we have stuff up down, you know, up here in the Great White North, up in Canada.
This, you know what, Burlington has a lot of interesting stuff.
It surely does.
A lot of interesting stuff. A lot more than people really know about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course, Niagara, you're down where your way is notorious for a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You know,
a lot of stuff. UFOs here, you see them pretty regularly. I mean, people capture photos of them all the time. I have a friend who worked for MUFON upstate New York, and she's just, you know, I'll call her, you know, or message her and say, you know, anything around the area documented for this spot, you know, around this time. She says, yeah, about 4 or 5 reports have come in. And it's like, okay, it's just kind of nice to have a little bit, knowing other people have also seen it. But yeah, they get a little close for comfort sometimes. You know, there's a lot of weird ass shit going on. But I thought I was leaving that behind when I left Burlington.
It followed you.
Things in my backyard and stuff got to be a bit unnerving, because you would hear things in the ravine some nights that were just like, you know, we had a dog out there one time, didn't want to come in, wasn't feeling well, wouldn't come in the house. I was like, okay, I just put a baby monitor out there. I was like, I'll just put a baby monitor out there, just sleep with it next to me, and I'll set my alarm, go out and just, you know, check on him and stuff. Yeah, I was just overprotective, and big husky, just a big old suck, you know. But anyway, would not come in the house, hated the house. So over the course of the night, I start hearing things that sounded like, I won't even say growling, but gurgling sounds. I'm like, it's got to be the dog. So I go outside, like, you know, I go outside. The dog is sacked out cold. In you know, it had a really big, like, it's just like an outbuilding, and just had a way in and out, and was heated, everything, right? But this is still just the fall. And I'm thinking, okay, dog's asleep. Shit. So I get her back into the house. And honestly, it went on for like another half an hour after that. And it just sounded like something's going like talking and gurgling, and like, it's making me very uncomfortable, you know.
You know, another thing, you know, closely related to that, or at least that the sort of talking bit. You know, I've gone to a few locations here in Burlington. You know, in the middle of nowhere, and one of the things that I have experienced several times is something that I can only equate to calling it ghost chatter. And it's like you hear like several people talking, almost whisper like, but there's nobody there. It's like somebody's playing a joke on you, but there's nobody there. You know, but you hear this chatter.
I've heard people that, you know, I've worked with say that.
Yeah.
That they're hearing things.
Yeah. And I mean, it's there have been a few times when we've been able to capture not necessarily the chatter, but like a sort of excerpt from the chatter. And it's quite intriguing. Yeah,
it makes you wonder. Is it like imprint? Is it interdimensional? Is it
are you patching into a conversation? Are they talking to one another?
I won't say that hasn't happened to me before in investigations, but
I mean, we have to look at this realistically. I mean, you know, we simply don't know what we're experiencing other than theory. And the theory is, okay, is it dead loved ones? Is it just people who are, you know, roaming and have no idea why, you know, they're there? They've got an unfinished business. They died abruptly. All these theories about what they might be. But what if they aren't dead? What if we are the ones that are
I've heard that theory too.
But we are the ones that are dead?
I had
not necessarily dead, but you know, maybe because I remember there was a. Are you familiar with ITC?
yes.
Okay, they did some experimentation, and some of the conversations that they were able to record, at least what they claim is with some well-known scientists that were studying the afterlife and EVP, and the conversations that they were picking up and were saying that, look at, we're not dead, we've only moved on to the real world.
Like interdimensionally speaking,
they wouldn't
multiple
say
layers.
they would not say, other than what they said was they have moved on to the real world, and that we are in waiting, we are in a purgatory state.
Wow.
That we aren't actually, you know, if you will, we're not experiencing the real world, as they put it.
Mm-hmm. Still sharing space, because there is a lot of people who theorize that Earth is purgatory.
Yeah. Could be.
Like theories, but it's
we have no idea. I mean, how many people can see life outside of the physical world? Right? I mean, no. I mean, people have no idea about the non-physical world that is all around us. You know, energy and whatnot, and what it means, and how it interacts with us as living beings. And if we were only able to understand, and some people do understand it more than others, if people were to understand it a little bit more, think about how life might be.
I think it's difficult. People need to see something physical because we live in a physical environment. It's hard to get people to separate their way of thinking into something that is.
We're human. We need tangibility.
Yes. Yes. To go outside the box is really difficult to get some people to do.
Yeah. But I mean, this is how society has conditioned us, right? From the time we're born. You know, I mean, this is stuff that's brought down to us from generation to generation. Of course, it's refined each time with each new person that's born. But I mean, if that sort of conditioning was never there, and you know, okay, we're getting too philosophical.
No. We have. You probably got a couple million people listening. Somebody's going to get it. Promise, I get it.
But I mean, no, you know, I mean, it's a fact. It's a fact that we are living, you know, as humans, how we've been taught, how we've been brought up to believe that not, you know, everything that we see is real. And that's not always the case. That's not always the case. It isn't. As much as you want to believe it is, it's not. You know, there's so much more to this world that we just, you know, maybe we did understand at one point, but now we don't because of the conditioning, you know, that society has now brought upon us. Because I mean, look at we at one point were animals. And when you look at animals and how they react to the environment, how they're able to, for instance, look at infrasound.
Yes.
How we cannot hear infrasound. Correct. If we heard infrasound, it literally drive us insane. But yet animals like dogs and all that, they can hear it. At one point, we might have been the same way. We might have been able to hear that. But because of our evolution, our conditioning, if you will, and becoming the dominant species as you want to put it, I guess, right now.
So we think. Yeah.
I mean, what was there an interjection there?
Mm-hmm.
What was there something that interjected our
Aliens.
evolution?
Yeah, I believe that aliens interjected. I do, and I mean,
quite possible.
Go ahead. Here comes the hate mail, but I do. I there's always been a missing link. You know, let's talk DNA. Let's look at the Rh negative people who Rh is basically the rhesus monkey, and the negatives lack that. So where does it come from? Just again, hypothesis. Yeah. It's just one more question mark.
And why do some people lose their hair and become bald?
Ask your mother. It comes from her side.
It's sexy.
It's the alien. It's the alien
men. Yes. Sean G asked a question, and I don't want to wait until we go too far and we're off topic again. Mm-hmm. What do they think Dog Man is? Spirit, physical, DNA experiment? That's a good question.
It's a great question.
The dog, the Dog Man. I always think of the Dog Man of Michigan. Mm-hmm. But what do I think there? I mean, quite possibly, maybe it is an animal that was forgotten, or maybe has not been documented yet.
Sort of like a Bigfoot, a species that has found a way
crypto species, if you will. I don't know.
Right.
I don't. You look at all the different theories with Bigfoot. I mean, is he interdimensional? Why can't we find him? He's very smart, but I mean, and that's where you're going to get the naysayers saying, "Well, look there's no proof." I mean, do we really know that there's no proof? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like ghosts. It's like capturing a ghost on camera. I mean, you throw it out there and you honestly say, look at what I captured. You know how many people are going to go, no, that's bullshit. You edited that. Mm-hmm. We've become so, what's the word now?
Cynical. Skeptical.
Not cynical or accepting of the fact that, this stuff's been doctored.
Always.
Because of the technology that we have, especially with the technology that we have now, we've evolved from the monkey suit to CGI.
Mm-hmm. That's what Wayne says. we come from hunter-gatherer people to not being. That's just pretty quickly, actually, on the grand scheme of the evolutionary scale.
How many people out there can survive if things broke down?
I'd be dead in the day.
Well, yeah, no burritos. Way. It's true. It's true. There's a lot more people, I think, that are starting to go off the grid now. They're just planning for the future. I think this whole pandemic has scared a lot of people, and people are preparing. Right.
Mm-hmm. Another question you want to ask, though, was that planned?
Don't get me started, because you're going to get me knocked off YouTube.
We're going to get pulled off of YouTube. They take us off 2 weeks at a time anytime we mention the C word.
No. I'm not talking about the C word. I'm talking about was it planned? The conditioning, the fact. We'll give them stuff. We'll give them stuff to entertain them and get them hooked and all that kind of stuff. Like TV and
dumbing you up.
Exactly.
Yes,
to the point where they can't fend for themselves.
No,
they've lost their animal instincts.
I agree. I agree with you on that. I think that they've calcified our pineal glands. They make you eat fuel injected foods. They're changing us in a way, and they keep us with our faces down like this, to the point where everybody's having dinner at the table going like this.
Your phones aren't allowed at my table.
It just, it takes, you see it in the restaurants when we used to go.
Yeah.
People are always, sitting there on their phones. And I'm thinking, they're dumbing you up.
I have a basket at my door when my nieces come over, and it's like, drop them in here. They go on top of the fridge. Everybody that's important to you is in this room right now. We don't need those phones on. And that's a prerequisite if you're going to eat at my house and spend a Sunday afternoon with me. I don't want your cell phone on my table.
It gets to be to that point, is it planned? Absolutely. I think everything is planned. I think everything that's happens year after year and month after month is definitely planned.
Crazy.
Some people are luckier than others as to, again, the hierarchy as to just how much planning.
Ozzy's Crazy Train should be the theme song for this year.
No, I know for sure. But it's true. Most people can't even answer basic questions anymore without looking it up. It's just...
They can't add. Have you been to a cashier and you give her cash and she can't give you the cash back without punching in that she's got to give you back $1.10? I'm like,
they don't know how to subtract, add, or whatever else.
Well, I taught my daughter how to do that. She's really good, and she gets frustrated at 14. She gives them, you owe me this much.
I mean, what happens if you have to sign a document? That's another thing that's disappearing.
You can't. No, you don't sign one anymore. You adapt a signature from the computer, and you give permission to use that. Yeah. I've used it for medical things, and it's crazy. It's how I sold my dad's house. I adopted a signature. I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's not even me writing my name.
Exactly.
No. Yeah, it is getting to a point where it's pretty out of hand, and doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon.
No, it's only going to evolve even more. I mean, you look at now how things have gone, how this has basically woken us up. This past year has basically woken us up to life in the streaming zone, if you will. Everything's streamed now. Everything is online. Everybody's working from home. And if it's a lot of it's something that's been sitting on the back burner or just slowly evolving has now been given this huge push forward. And that's with everything now. Everything is totally shifted now.
You're mentioning working from home.
That being one of you.
That also leads me to this question. How do you feel about investigators working from home and investigating their own places and putting that out there on YouTube? What are your thoughts on that?
To each your own. As long as you're not doing exorcisms from Skype.
Please don't.
Careful now, because you can actually search that. We're just saying.
Oh, trust me, you can. You'll be able to find. I could tell you one person that's very popular doing that.
Really?
But
I hope I don't know this person.
There's a lot of people right now that are, I think, doing questionable things. You're getting back to, I just saw one of these new programs come out and saw somebody I recognized with a complete fabricated story. Just to be on the show. And I went, I wonder if the owner of that company is even aware. Because I know him too. So, I just find desperate measures, I guess, not investigating enough. What can I piece together just to get on this program? I don't know. Yeah.
That's another thing, that's a huge problem. Michelle, that's a huge problem. A lot of people are like that, getting onto these shows. A producer reaches out just blindly to somebody who might be a part of a paranormal group or whatever else. And hey, look, can you tell me you have a story about something demonic? Because I mean, let's face it, they want the demonic stuff, but yes. And I'll tell you, like, I don't know how many times I could have thrown them a story and beefed it up with a demon, but I mean, no. How many people out there have thrown a story their way and it had nothing to do with a demon, but they threw that in there because look at that's what they're looking for.
But that's correct. I always say, look at the shows that I've done, because I'm sure we've done the same ones. And I can give 4 or 5 different answers to one question, but there's only one that ends up getting used. You know, and I work with a lot of producers, and I'll always direct them to reputable people without guarantees of well, I'm not saying for sure you're going to get something, but at least this person is reputable. And I have gone to other producers and said, this person's story is completely falsified.
But they don't care. They don't care.
Well, some don't, for sure not.
They don't care.
For sure not. And unfortunately, is that what it's come to now? People investigating just because of the potential of being, you know, able to get on that television show. I've even seen people say they're haunted with problems just to be able to, you know, people say, well, can I get on the show? What? I haven't even investigated that.
I've investigated. I had to stop investigating homes. Not to say I wouldn't if somebody's in real need of help or whatever. That's a different story. But I've walked into homes where, you go in for like a pre-investigative sort of sit down and say, okay, what's the issue? You know, this is how it's gonna, this is how we're gonna carry this out. Blah 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 blah. And then somebody go, oh, is it okay if I invite my neighbor over? They want to see what you guys do. No, we want to make sure we've got this secure and things won't be contaminated. And you show up, for the investigation, and they're sitting in the living room playing DVD Trivia Pursuit. They're neighbors.
What do you do?
You just walk. I just walk right back in.
Yeah.
I won't even bother. There's no point.
No, it's not taken seriously, and it's a danger to anyone else who's there while you're investigating for attachments. Exactly. Why would you want to be there and risk something happening to you? You're not entertainment. You're an investigative team.
You're asking for help.
Yeah. Follow the rules.
You want the help or not? Right. And I hate saying that it makes me sound evil when I say, do you want the help or not? But no, I mean, sometimes you just have to be that way because people just don't understand.
Well, and I'm sure you have more than one household or one family that's coming and asking you for help. You're not going to waste your time somewhere where someone does not want to follow through. If they don't want to do the work, why would you want to be there? You're going to go to the next person who values your time and really needs you there. Mm-hmm. Don't take time away from other people who need it.
Exactly.
There are people who are habitual also with investigators. They may have a haunted location and they have tons of different groups come in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And because let's face it, there is a little bit of a community. And I've had people say, oh, watch this one here if you hear from her, because she's likes to get a lot of different people. And I don't have that kind of time, man. I don't go into typical investigations. I never really have. I don't mind going in to help somebody, much like yourself, but there isn't a lot of time. There's never been a lot of time in my life to just go investigate something because.
No.
I mean, I've always, me personally, one of the major reasons why I got into doing this, of course, is because I truly wanted to understand what was going on. Number one. But number two is, if I was having issues and I wanted to know what was going on, who would I look to? Without looking like crazy and seeming disturbed or whatever.
I know who
I wanted to be that outlet for somebody who's truly looking for some help.
No, for sure.
And there's a reason why that guy up there, I asked him to come along, because he provides the burritos.
Well, not tonight.
nuts.
Screw you guys. That's it. No.
Next show I'll make sure everybody has them, and Michelle will have something like pizza instead.
Hey, Alex, I thought you were going to zip them.
I'll ship you pizza. Michelle, have
Regardless
Uber
of
Eats
what,
deliver
regardless of what Amelia said, she did not share her address on the Facebook chat, so I
I'm
could not
pretty
send
sure
it to
I
her.
did. You probably deleted it, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm going to say I think I might have saw it.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're
Yeah.
lying.
Why
You're
are we
lying.
talking burritos?
No.
So,
Yeah, I know.
there is some comments in the chat. Hold on, Sean, Jason, choose. Ever been somewhere that drains you to the point you can't think straight?
Oh yeah.
I like that. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very relaxed.
Yeah, I can say I've been somewhere that I've been pretty drained, and you know what? I'm not psychic or anything like that, so I'm not talking about drained psychically or anything like that. Just drained
Physically.
energy, physically. Period.
Why do you think that is?
And there's just so much going on. So much going on. I remember doing this, investigating the old, and I can say this now because it's not called that anymore. The old Hiram Walker Ranch, one of the old Hiram Walker ranches.
Mm-hmm.
I've done one of the Hiram Walker houses.
Yeah, and the guest house on the ranch, not the house itself, but there was a guest house on the ranch that was built in the 50s. And the stories that came out of that place, the family that was living in there, the last family, they abruptly moved out because they couldn't handle the stuff that was going in there. And I'm going into this investigation going, I don't believe it. I was skeptical, right?
Mm-hmm.
And going in there and you know, it just, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that place ever.
So why do you think that would be? Because I know the house I did was pretty ridiculously active also.
Well, we didn't have a chance, unfortunately, to do the main house because the owner was there and they're having a dinner party and all that kind of stuff. So we stayed away from doing that. I wanted to make sure we were able to fully secure an area because we did the horse ranch, the horse barns, because a lot of the main reason was there was a lot of problems going on with the horses. In fact, a lot of the horses were getting injured and they couldn't understand why. They didn't understand. They were getting very spooked. And at times, I think one of the horses ran at another horse for no reason. They couldn't understand. The handlers couldn't understand what was going on. So we went in primarily because of that. And then when we found out some more information, we said, okay, well, we're going to go in and we're going to do the guest house because there's a lot going on, or seemingly a lot going on in the house, in the guest house. And Michelle, I've been to a lot of places like you have, I'm sure. But this place just honestly blew me away. I was so drained at the end of the night. It was just incredible.
Did you determine what was spooking the horses?
Not the horses, but what we were kind of lending it down to was that there was somebody who had committed suicide in the barn. And we were kind of figuring that through the information and what we were gathering, that it was irritating the horses. They could somehow experience or sort of, they knew something was going on, and but obviously we didn't know. But somebody that works with the group, incredibly talented empath that we have, Incredible. I'm very highly skeptical with mediums and psychics and all. I'm very, very skeptical with a lot of them. And I've worked with a lot of charlatans, but
Me too.
yeah, but this particular person that we had come in and read the place just brought the owner to tears. And the information that she was able to bring to the table without knowing anything about this. She went in cold, completely cold.
As should be.
Exactly.
Yeah, as should be.
And right off the bat, she was bang, 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 and literally the one owner was in tears, and we're like, oh man, is this good or bad? Like
is it giving her peace or is she afraid? Yeah,
well,
you have to be careful what you say.
Exactly. And that's what we tell people. Look, you have to be ready for what you're about to experience. I mean, are you wanting to know the truth? Are you wanting to know what we find? Are you ready for that? And a lot of people aren't.
Well, sometimes you just have to take baby steps and keep asking in different ways to make sure they haven't changed their minds, because they may be gun-ho and then you're halfway through and they're like, I can't deal with this right now.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you though, we did the initial investigation. We found some rather interesting stuff. Went back to the ranch. We gave them the information. We laid it out on the table. They initially wanted us to come back in and do a follow-up, and I prefer to do that. I prefer to do follow-ups because, let me just say, look, if you think you can figure out if a place is haunted or not in one visit, you're very wrong. You're very wrong. And you're definitely giving somebody a load of crap in telling them so. But with the information that we gave them, let me just say, I don't know if it spooked them or what. Everything was shut right down.
I just need to interject here with the station ID because it's that time again. So if you're tuning in, listening in New Orleans, you are listening to us either on 107.7 FM or 105.3 FM. We are the Outer Realm with Michelle Desrochers and Amelia Pisano, special guests, Alex Rondini and Steve Genier tonight. We are United Public Radio. And this broadcast tonight is partially sponsored by the good people at Folgers Coffee Crystals. Thank you, Folgers.
Or Alea Rondini, if you're watching the screen.
Alea, that's why I hesitated. But I didn't want to do that. Now, Alex, what about you? What has been something so profound for you in investigations?
The only thing that's been profound to me was that the one time I caught the CVP. It was one of the first EVPs I caught was at the Whippy Asylum. And, just like Steve's story was told to me ad nauseum, I've told this story ad nauseum as well on our show. But it was the old Whippy site before they tore it down. We had gone there a good dozen times. And, we captured stuff on cameras, but I mean, there's also a lot of dust particles flying around as well, right? So you can't really count that as valid. So the one time we had gone there, this was run towards the end before they boarded up the place before and you couldn't get in anymore. It was about 4 of us that went there, and I don't know if either of you are familiar with this complex, but it was.
I was.
You are familiar, okay? So it's a complex that was comprised of multiple buildings. And we had gone in one of the main buildings because there was 2 large buildings and a bunch of smaller satellite buildings. So we had gone into one of the large main buildings. There was 4 of us that went that night. And we split up into 2 groups of 2s. We started on the 2nd floor. My friend Jen and I went one way, and the other 2 went the opposite way. So as we're walking down, my friend Jen stops at the staircase that leads down to the main floor and says, there's something down there. So I decided to say, okay, you know what? Let's just finish the floor. We'll go down to the main floor and then subsequently the basement later. I just want to get this sort of sweep of the second floor done. So we kept walking, and shortly after the staircase, there was a room on the same side. We went in there, took out my recorder, started, recording the session. In the recording, you could hear my friend Jen just blabbing off, saying something. It's hard to make out what she's saying because there's also echoing in the room as well. But at the same time, as you hear her voice, you also hear a male whisper at the same time. And the only thing you could hear, or I could hear distinctly at the time when I listened to it, was the word downstairs. And this was just after she had stopped and said there was someone downstairs. So that was pretty freaky there.
Sean G is asking, have either of you picked up an attachment spirit during an investigation ever?
Spirits are afraid of me.
He's a ghost detector.
We're like, we're friends. Yeah. You're friends with Michelle. I ain't going near you. She'll have me banished in a second.
I'd like to think I haven't, but like I said, I've had a lot of strange stuff happen around here. Who knows? Who knows?
Maybe a visitor, not necessarily something attached to you, but something that's just interested and hopefully will leave.
It could be. Who knows? Hopefully it doesn't want to see it go away.
Yeah.
No, somebody's trying to get your attention. I am real.
Well,
I thought she was going to say 4.
I'll tell you a little story. And one of the incidents that has happened here. We live in a freehold townhome, and our neighbors. We were away in Florida one year. A couple of years ago. I think it was a couple of years ago, and we got back, and no sooner than when we got back, we had a knock at the door, and it was our neighbor. And she goes, "Were you guys home last night?" No. Why? Because there was some really loud music coming from your house, and a lot of ruckus. And I'm like, strange. There was nobody here. Nobody checking on things. And it was just okay. I didn't understand. So apparently, the neighbor came and knocked on the door while this was going on. Can you turn down the music, sort of thing? And if there was no lights on in the house.
Yeah.
And they were telling me this was so loud that they could hear it clearly through the firewall. And I'm just thinking, wow.
Did it happen after? Like, did you get anything when you guys were home?
No, not like that. I've had a lot of stuff happen, but not like that. Not like that.
Wow.
He also asks, what do you do to protect yourselves from the paranormal pre-post investigation and or during?
I don't highly believe in I really don't believe in that, to be honest. That is something that myself, I mean, people have done it for me. And it's not that it's non-existent, but it's something that I don't really pay a lot of attention to personally.
I'm saying, aside from maybe some grounding,
Yeah.
And it just makes me feel better, but also mindset.
Yeah. No, I agree. Mindset.
How about you, Alex? Burrito breath?
I don't need it because, like I said, I'm the deterrent, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have anything to worry about.
I don't have anything to worry about. If they try to get attached to me, then they're gonna have some problems.
And he doesn't share burritos, so you know.
Yeah.
Pay me double, Amelia.
I will. We'll see. We'll see what you got.
It's like when they hold on to a Big Mac combo for like 18 years and see how it hasn't changed over the 18 years. It's the same with Alex's burritos. Haven't changed.
It's not guac you're seeing, it's mold.
Oh my God.
You guys are so bad.
Yeah. All right. So what do you, this is a question that I do like to put up there to other investigators, just because we all have different techniques, different ways of doing things, different mindsets when it comes to, investigations on average. But how would you like to see the field go? How would you like to, which direction would you like to see it go in? What would you like to see people do?
I'll let Alea go first.
Alea.
Oh my God. I keep forgetting it's there. We'll get Joe to change that. I caught it, yeah. Because your name is correct, but we'll get that changed before it gets. We'll get that changed before it gets put into archive for forever.
Yeah. So sorry, I got distracted. What was the question?
Where would you like to see things go in the field? Yeah.
I want to see more of a and I know why Steve pointed it to me first. I want to see more of a sort of centralized organization that sort of oversees the paranormal. I've been saying this for years. I've been saying it on our show for years. And it's needed just because right now there's no accountability. Anybody can say whatever the hell they want, and that's it. No one can. There's no responsibility. So I can go on record and say, I've encountered all these demons. I do all this stuff and charge all this money for admission, and there's absolutely no accountability, especially when people get taken for. Right?
He wants to be your overlord.
That's right. I want to be the overlord.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Didn't Gandalf die?
I agree with you with that. There doesn't seem to be any accountability either. It's just people can do what they want. There are a lot of really great groups out there, and there's a lot out there that should be hobbyists, maybe with public locations, and not deal with families because they don't know how to deal with people. Anybody can pick up a camera, anybody can pick up a recorder, but people can't. Not everybody can deal with people.
I find that people in general are not accountable, whether they're in the paranormal or there's less accountability anywhere. I feel like the narcissistic group is getting stronger and stronger. It might just overtake the rest of us, but
hold on a sec.
Accountability is far and few in between.
Hold on a sec, guys. I just got to take a selfie here. Hold on a sec.
That's you, didn't you?
But that's exactly it. It's I got to take a picture with the the trademark whatever whatever location they're at. I just got to show people I've been there. Or let's do a Facebook Live. Let's do a Facebook Live EVP session down
Let me
here.
do my favorite are the readings they do on Facebook Live.
Oh yeah.
It is very difficult. It's hard to govern because there's just so much to it. It really is. I personally have never charged, for investigations. I know people who have. I've worked with people who have, and I don't think it's acceptable. But I mean, there are people out there who will tell you it's justified. I mean, hey, get your expenses covered by all means. Have your receipts. Not everybody can afford to travel to help somebody. I know, like I've put in lots and lots and countless hours, and even on the phone, or helping people, or not even just going to locations, just being a sounding board, or just answering questions. But that's what we choose to do.
Yep.
It's what we made the choice to do. It's not like getting a reading. People give readings, people pay for readings, and it's not quite the same.
Is their life any better? I mean, there's
too many. I know you're just hardcore.
I don't know.
But I think if people investigate and they make you feel, let's say as a homeowner, like, you're lucky I'm here to help you. I think that's right where people should say, get out, just leave. Because I've always looked at it and said, thank you for trusting me. And thank you for entrusting your family to me to help you. Like, it's a privilege. And I think if people look at it any other way, and they just start looking for that, I'm going to get that manic piece of evidence, and they lose the people in the process, there's something detrimentally wrong with that. And it happens too often.
I hear a pin drop. No, I'm just
awkward moment.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
What else can you say to that, right? People are scum. I can say that.
Weekend warriors. I don't know.
I mean, I agree with Alex to a certain extent.
Years of disagreeing with me.
After years of disagreeing, but at the same time, I look at stuff. I look at the world and how things are, controlled or regulated or whatever else, and I just see nothing but chaos. I really do. I just, as controlled as things are, there's still chaos. With a lot of stuff.
Do you think we'll ever get there?
Not in our lifetime, I don't think. Not in our lifetime.
It sounds so dire.
I don't. Are we talking the paranormal?
No, just everything being not paranormal, but being governed, having a governing body.
I mean, look at we all have a life to live, and we all look as long as we can live our lives without having restraints or control or whatever else. Most people are fine. Most people are happy. I'm making money, or I'm as free as as could possibly be. And of course the whole world's not like that, but are we ever going to truly be free? Who knows? Who knows? You like to think that'll happen. You like to think that there'll be a point in your life where you don't have to worry about having to make money or whatever. You just, when you think
there's people who charge pretty astronomical amounts of money for investigations.
I know.
I've helped people who've said, okay, I was told to pay $10,000, $5,000 up front, plus accommodations and expenses.
What?
Somebody in Canada bringing somebody in from the States. I'm like, that's insane.
I had somebody
staying at the Four Seasons.
Sorry.
I think it needs to be governed. I think these people need to be shot is what they need to be done.
There's that S word again. I had somebody approach me and offer me $5,000 to help them with the situation, and I go, no, I'm not. I can't take that. I cannot take that. I would not feel good about myself taking that money from you. No,
you can't even guarantee anything would work. That's the funny thing about this is they'll say, well, we guarantee we'll get rid of it. No, you can't guarantee something like that.
No. Look, we're dealing with the unknown. We're dealing with even science is just it basically has theories about to this day.
No, that's true.
I mean, little by little, there are things that are discovered or figured out. But for the most part, that deep, dark area that we call the unknown, it just seems to keep getting larger and larger. You know, more and more questions are asked, and you simply go, are we crazy? No, I mean, as much as I'd love to know what's going on, I don't think we'll ever know anytime soon.
No, but I think part of the fun is the journey to discovery. You know, I think Sean, chasing the truth. What do you think shadow creatures are? People, or what are shadow creatures and people?
Based out of experience, I had a dealing with one that gave me a quite an interesting experience, but I think they're of a whole different realm. I really do. I don't think they're creature. I don't think they're a human. I just think they're entirely from a different realm that we just don't fully understand.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are researching them specifically, like Joshua says, psychic people, astral projection equals poltergeist equals shadow people.
It's quite possible, but I mean, again, that's just theory. We don't know. We don't know, and you know what drives me nuts is, you know, I've found shadow people a very fascinating topic, especially having you know, an experience myself with one that, you know, that just blew my mind away. But what drives me nuts is when things get out of hand, and then all of a sudden you got, oh, how about those guys, those shadow creatures with the hats, the Hat Man, they're evil, you know, and it just goes into this whole out of whack sort of Alex's nemesis of not being in control and just getting out of whack. It's just ridiculous. Some of these things that come out of the
stereotypical because they're watching too much TV, or do you think is it based on what people's experiences have been with specific ones? Yeah.
Quite possibly. There's one thing I learned. You know, you look at and you know, I don't want to bring it up, but I have to, and it's been a long.
Just do it. I know you're itching.
It's been a long battle, but orbs.
And I'm so with you on that one.
You know, okay, so look at orbs pretty much became mainstream when the digital point camera came into existence. I mean, there were orbs before that, but the orb as we know it now pretty much became a part of the digital realm, and that was blown out of proportions with the help of Art Bell and Coast to Coast. When he brought that whole thing on there, oh my God, everyone. Oh yeah, I captured 50 of them last night on my camera. Oh my God, look at this stuff. And, yeah, but that's the thing. People don't know.
They're not looking for the logical answer now.
They're not exactly. They're not looking for the logical
with my physical eye, you know, moving. And it's like,
most of these are captured on cell phones.
I had people send pictures, and you know, they're camping, and the whole frame is just these white. You know, it's like I think people just need to be educated. You know, I had a photographer on staff at one point just who could filter through all that and just tell people like, no.
But at the same time, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to accept that. As much as you tell them, there are people out there. Oh my God, I've battled with people about this. That don't want to reason with you when you tell them, look at from a film, from a photography background or whatever else. This is what it is. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. You're just a non-believer.
Those video cameras, those kib cameras, the cameras aren't helping either right now.
No, there's a lot out there, and I think again, nothing that education doesn't solve. I think there's, I mean, there's a lot of online courses, and you could be a demonologist for $20, and then you do have your other better courses, of course. You know, you could be an exorcist for $20 if you're this or this or this. I mean, I have people send me all kinds of stuff. I'm just like, Jesus, it's pretty cheap. But, you know, I don't pretend to know everything, and I don't pretend to be versed in everything and what's what. And I just think that if there's all of that, you think, you know, I mean, and I won't say it doesn't happen. There are some people out there who do try to educate other people, you know, but maybe somebody should just start doing little snippets of, here's your crash course on orbs. Here's your
Absolutely.
absolutely.
You know what? One of the most enjoyable things that I have done has gone into schools.
That's almost time.
And I've talked to kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they automatically want to know, oh, hey, you know, what have you experienced? Have you seen a ghost? And you know, they want to know all that stuff. And you reason with them, yeah, I've seen it, but it's not exactly how you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And what about orbs? And you tell them, you be reasonable in your explanation. Look at this is what they are.
Not so exciting, is it?
No, 99.9% of the time, you're capturing something in the environment, an environmentally driven incident. Yeah. Especially those fairies. Those are the best.
With that being said, tell everybody how to find you. And at that time, I got the little notification there.
Yeah, because we're running over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're almost there. I'll have enough time to sign off. How do we find you guys?
You can find us on newvisionsradio.com. That's where we broadcast our audio portion of the show every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or you can go and check out our YouTube channel. Just type in Nocturnal Frequency Radio on YouTube, and you should be able to find us.
Excellent. I shared that as well on our Facebook for you guys, so that if you're in your car listening, you can just go to the Facebook page and you can find the links for these two gentlemen on Sunday nights.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys again.
Yeah.
Please let me know when you release, because we would love to have you guys come back on.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we're booking, you know, in September, October.
Well, we're gonna have to have you guys on the show soon too.
We'd like that. Maybe on the night you release your show.
Okay, there you go.
We're going to see it one way or another, damn it.
Can't be watching and be on the show at the same time. It's going to be kind of distracting, don't you think?
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. No, but it's always a pleasure. And, you know, you guys take care of yourselves out there. And looking forward to seeing what else you guys come up with. And we'll definitely do this again.
Sounds fun. Love you guys.
Yeah, take care, guys. Be well.
Hey,
take care. You too. Happy Easter.
Hell yeah. So we've come to another awesome segment here on the Outer Realm. Thank you all for tuning in this evening. Special thank you to our guests, Genier and Alex Rondini. Huge thank you to Folgers Coffee, as always, for partially sponsoring tonight's show. Remember to stop by United Public Radio Network, UFO, Paranormal Radio Network. Tongue twister. YouTube channel, subscribe. We get double the fun. Look for us at the Outer Realm on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. If you'd like to comment on the show, or you have a specific guest or topic you'd like to see, please email us at theouterrealmcontact@gmail.com. Again, theouterrealmcontact@gmail.com. Tune in next week as we welcome two more amazing guests. Wednesday night, we'll have Nick Redfern joining us, talking UFOs. Thursday, we have David Weiss making his first appearance here on the show, and he will be discussing his flat earth theory. So it's going to be one hell of a lineup. Until then, Amelia and I say thank you. Have a good night, fantastic and safe weekend. Happy Easter.